Hello, 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 everyone. Welcome back to Chapter 1 and Beyond. And today's episode is another episode of Try It or Trash It. So, in last recap of last week's episode, was that we had The Poppy War by R.F. Kuang, A Short Stay in Hell by Stephen L. Peck, and Other Birds by Sarah Addison Allen. Um, so out of those three books, I only was able to get to one of them, but I got distracted with two other books, so I was gonna recap those as well. Um, so I did not get to the Poppy War by R.F. Kuang, and I did not get to Other Birds by Sarah Addison Allen, only because there were no audiobooks available for both of those books. I physically just had no time to sit down and read a physical book. In fact, it's actually been very, very rough trying to even have time to sit. so, so yeah. So my thoughts on A Short Stay in Hell by Stephen L. Peck. I really don't know how this book even got on my want to read list. Um, I gave it a 2 stars. Like, the narrator for this audiobook was not great. I'm gonna admit I was not entertained by this book. It was a interesting concept at the beginning where they're describing the demon, and they got these people like begging to not be sent to a certain level of hell, and um it was just a very strange book. I really don't know how this one got on my list, but I did read it. I gave it 2 stars. Would I recommend this to anybody? I feel like no. um, I don't know. I just personally was not into this book. So, um, so yeah. So that's my very brief thoughts on that one. So I'm glad that I never physically own this book. This is just getting off of my list. It's done, and never to be visited again. so, the Poppy. So, because I didn't get to the Poppy War by R.F. Kuang and Other Birds, I am re-adding it back onto my wheel of spinning. So, I know for a fact I do want to read those books, but because of how restrained I am to be able to physically sit down and read a book, I think I'm gonna throw in that caveat, if you will. So the two books that I did finish in conjunction, well, technically I finished three books in conjunction with A Short Stay in Hell by Stephen L. Peck. So I'll review those as well. So the three books that I was able to get on audiobook that I finished were Things We Lost to the Water by Eric Nagian, I believe, Nguyen. I apologize for botching up that last name. Um, the other book that I finished was Wonder by R.J. Palacio. And then The Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches by Sangu Mandana, I believe is the last name. So for Things We Lost to the Water, I gave that a 4 stars. I love that book. That was a very emotional book for me. Wonder by R.J. Palacio. I gave that a 4.75 stars. Absolutely devoured, loved this book. I was very emotionally attached to that book. And then The Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches by Sangu Mandana. I gave that 2 stars. I just was not really into that one. So of those three books that I just listed, I really, really loved Wonder, and I really, really loved Things We Lost to the Water. Normally, I am not into like literary fiction type books like Things We Lost to the Water. I believe that's the genre classification for this one. Um, yeah, and it had LGBTQ plus representation in it, but it was a very emotional read for me. I was very much rooting for the main character and their family in this. Um, but I definitely do recommend this book, and I'm actually kind of glad that I do own this book, um, because now I can pass this on to someone that can really, um, you know, really read this book, because I think this is a book that definitely needs to be read. So I am opting, even though I do physically own that book, I am opting to donate it to a free little library in the Northeast Ohio area. Wonder by R.J. Palacio. I do not physically own that book, but I kind of um, kind of wish I did, because I could totally see reading that to my kids, and it was age appropriate because it was like a fifth grader. I feel like it was age appropriate for like my oldest, and being able to read that to her, I'm hoping I can do that in the future. So maybe that is something that I will pick up from the library, because I am trying to reduce down how much I have on my shelves. Um, so, but I'm very, very, very happy I read that. And then The Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches. I do not physically own that one. That one's a one and done for me. So, the second half of this episode is, as you guys know, we're going to spin the wheel to do our next three picks. And let's just see what we get here. So, I'm going to do a spinny spin here, and let's see what we get for our first pick. Okay, it looks like we are getting A Beautiful Mind by Sylvia Nasser. So this one is a want to read pick. Looks like I'm going to be getting this one from the library because I do not physically own this book. I definitely want to try this one. This has been on my want to read list for probably over 4 years now. So actually, it's kind of good, like these spins that I've been getting in the last two episodes. Um, so yeah, and it looks like that one is available on audiobooks, so that shouldn't be a problem. Okay. So I do want to talk about what this book description is, so give me just 1 second. I'm going to pull up the description. All right, so this was published in 1998. It's a 461 page book. Like I said, it was by Sylvia Nasser. It looks like it's considered a biography, history, general fiction, according to Hardcover app. Um, the reviews are not looking too great. It looks like one reviewer said the writing was pretty good, but there were many discourses that didn't add much, such as various topics of mental health. Also, I would like some detail on the mathematics. Nash was not really a nice person. I'm amazed at how many good friends he had. Interesting. Okay. And then another review. Oh, 2 stars. This book was probably more like 2.5 stars. Interesting, but not riveting. It was also alarmingly different than the film, which made me very frustrated with whoever made the movie. Yeah, well, that tends to happen a lot. A lot of these people read this book like back in 2020 and 2013, so I'm really behind the bandwagon on this one. But it looks like this one relates to a mathematical genius, John Forbes Nash Jr., and he suffered a breakdown at age 31 and was diagnosed with schizophrenia. I mean, honestly, it sounds fantastic, so I'm very excited about this. The average rating of this one is a 3.7 star rating. So, I am definitely going to give that a go. I'm actually picking it up on Libby right now. So, all right. So, we have two more spins to go, possibly more, depending on how we're going to do this. All right. So, let's do the next spin. All right. And it looks like it's landing on The Wild Huntress by Emily Lloyd Jones. Okay, so this one, I think I do own this one. Let's see if it's on my list. Okay, yes, I do physically own this book. It's been published in 2024, so this is a recent book. Interesting. Um, Looks like it's 421 pages and the audiobook is 19 hours long. Looks like it is oh wait, no, that's a Song of the Huntress. Never mind. I wonder if the audiobook is available. That is something I'm gonna have to look up. I'll look up that in a minute, but it looks like, according to the description from the best-selling author of The Bone Houses and The Drowned Woods, comes a thrilling fantasy about three unlikely allies bound together in a deadly magical competition. Perfect for fans of Holly Black and Aaron A. Craig. Every 5 years, two kingdoms take part in a wild hunt. Joining is a bloody risk, and even the most qualified hunters can suffer the deadliest fates. Still, hundreds gamble their lives to participate, all vying for the hunt's life changing prize, a magical wish granted by the other king. Branwen possesses a gift no other human has, the ability to see and slay monsters. She's desperate to cure her mother's sickness, and the wild hunt is her only option. Gwendian is the least impressive of his magically talented family, but with his ability to control plants and his sleight of hand, he'll do whatever it takes to keep his crueler older brother from becoming a tyrant. Um, Pride Derry is a prince born and monster raised. Deep down, the royal crown doesn't interest him. All he wants is to know where he belongs. A trickster, a prince, and a wild huntress, all in the pursuit of the champion's prize. If they band together against the monstrous creatures within the woods, they have a chance to win, but nothing is guaranteed. After all are fair game in love and the hunt. Set in the same world as the Bone Houses and the Drowned Woods, but with a whole new, unforgettable cast of characters, The Wild Huntress will have readers hooked from the very first page. Sweet. Yeah, it sounds good to me. Young adult fantasy adventure, I'm down for it. Most of the reviews that I'm seeing on hardcover app are like 3 stars and greater, so this sounds fantastic. Um, it does have an average rating of 3.8 stars, which is interesting because like most of the popular reviews are 3 and 4 stars. So, yeah, but I do physically own this book, so I'm gonna try my dang hardest to make sure that I can get this on audiobook, because this might be another situation where I do really want to read this one, but because of how crazy my schedule is, it's going to be challenging for me to physically pick this up before the next episode. Um, so yeah, we'll figure it out. We're doing. All right. So I got one more spin because I like to aim for at least 3 books in this episode. So we're going to do another spinny spin here. And okay, interesting. Oh, I'm a little terrified of this one. So this one is called Black Woods, Blue Sky by Ewan Ivy. I'm pretty sure I own that book. Let me take a look. Okay. Yes, I do physically own this book. It was one of my book of the month picks. Looks like it's around 431 pages. I'm not 1000% sure when it was published because it doesn't say on hardcover. Oh, it looks like it was released February 4th of 2025, so it's like this year. Interesting. Um, do. It looks like I can get it on audiobook too, so that's great. Getting that on Libby right now. Let's see. What is this? Because I definitely do want to give it a whirl, especially if I physically own these books. I just want to at least give them a try. So, it looks like Ewan Ivy returns to the mythical landscapes of Alaska with an unforgettable dark fairy tale that asks the question, can love save us from ourselves? And the description goes, Birdie's keeping it together, of course she is. Okay. So she's a little hungover sometimes, and she has to bring her daughter, Maylene, to her job waiting tables at an Alaskan roadside lodge. Still, she's getting by as a single mother in a tough town, but Birdie can remember happier times from her youth when she was free in the wilds of nature. In the wilds. I've never heard. Okay. Arthur Nielsen, a soft spoken and scared recluse who appears in town only at the change of seasons, brings Emmeline back to safety when she gets lost in the woods. Most people avoid him, but to Birdie, he represents everything she's ever longed for. She finds herself falling for Arthur in the land he knows so well. Against the warnings of those who care about them, Birdie and Emmeline move to Arthur's isolated cabin in the mountains on the far side of the Wolverine River. It's just the three of them in the vast black woods, far from roads, telephones, electricity, and outside contact, but Birdie believes she has come prepared. At first, it's idyllic, and she can easily picture a happily ever after together. They catch salmon, pick berries, and climb mountains that seem tall enough to touch the bright blue sky. But soon, Birdie discovers that Arthur is something much more mysterious and dangerous. Than she could have ever imagined, and that a fairy tale like the Alaskan wilderness can be as dark as it is beautiful. Black Woods and Blue Sky is a novel with life and death stakes about the love between a mother and daughter and the allure of a wild life, about what we gain and what it might cost us. Interesting. Oh, the author was born and raised, or was raised in Alaska and continues to live there with her husband and two daughters. She worked for nearly a decade as a bookseller at Independent Fireside Books in Palmer, Alaska, and prior to that, a reporter for the local newspaper, The Frontiersman. Interesting. Well, I'm excited. This is going to be interesting because, like, I love how authors sometimes will key in their their own surroundings and environment. So, and the fact that this is only a 12-hour audiobook, I'm like, yes, let's do it. So, okay. So I think we have our three books. It looks like maybe the Wild Huntress might be a problem, but it's okay. But I'm glad that we have three more, and then hopefully, before end of 2025, I can pencil in the Poppy War and Other Birds because I did really want to read those. I'm very bummed out that I could not get to Other Birds by Sarah Addison Allen. Just the description from the previous episode, it just sounded fantastic. I mean, an apartment, and it's got magical realism. I'm all into magical realism lately. So, um, but yeah, so I thank you so much for joining on this mini episode. Um, Let me know your thoughts on any of the books that I listed in this episode. If you've read them, if you've um, hated them and trashed them yourself. And then I'm curious too if you are joining along with this Try It or Trash It series. What books did you pick up, and which ones did you try, and which ones did you trash? Um, I'd love to hear from you guys. So I hope you have a wonderful week and take care, and bye bye.